Good evening, everyone. My name is Morris, aka Neo. I am an avid motorcycle rider, or as some people call it, a motorcycle enthusiast. I just call it just plain old biker. I'm showcasing something I did to my bike that I wish they had put on this bike originally. So, let me give you a little bit of background information. I ride the Honda VFR800. This one I'm displaying right now is the third version of the bike I've ever had. So, what's so special about this bike? Well, it's a sport bike, it's sport touring, and it gets great gas mileage. For me, it was my first bike. I had a different version. It was the 2006 Black Pearl Honda VFR800 ABS, and it was very comfortable. Love that bike so much so I bought more. So, that being said, let me just kind of display some of the features of this bike. This particular one is the Honda VFR800 or Interceptor if you're in the United States, and it has some, let's see, traction control, which is basically a turn. In this one, this just turn off, turn on. You don't really get to adjust it like you do on, say, the CBR or the Jexers, or even the Kawasaki Ninjas now. It has signal cancellation, so if you are about to turn and you forget to turn off your signal, it cancels for you automatically. It also has a spring in the back that you can adjust the tension on. So let's say if you have a passenger and your bike dips a little bit more because you guys are heavy like me, the tension will allow you to kind of stay informed and support the extra weight. It also has heated grips, which is a wonderful, wonderful feature to have, especially if you're riding in the wintertime. Being that I'm in Florida, every now and then I use it, like recently when it got down to freezing, but oftentimes I don't need it. So, different from the VFR that I had before to this one, it has turn signal mirrors. So, what are those? Those are mirrors that have the turn signal in them, which means people who are in cars or trucks can see when I signal. They can see me a whole lot better, which is always key when you're riding a motorcycle. So, why am I doing this video? Well, apparently Honda forgot to include one thing that was crucial for this bike if you're going to do sport touring. They have it available as an accessory, but where you mount it is kind of crazy. And that's the auxiliary port. Being that this bike didn't have it, I went and bought another one. Basically, this one, the cigarette lighter type auxiliary port. So you can basically put a USB port in there or a dual USB port and charge your devices. That got a little inconvenient because a lot of times that USB port, that device ended up coming out. So what did I do? I said let's just bypass middleman, and I got this. It's a great thing to have. There's still another problem though. Like this port right here, both of them have long cables, which means that on the bike, depending on how well you tied it down, they'll be flying everywhere. Or they'll get in the way of you, say, turning or the normal function of your bike, which is a problem. So, what did I do to solve that problem? Ladies and gentlemen, I added this little feature. Basically, I have not only the dual USB ports, I also have the cigarette lighter port, and I can turn it off and on if I want to. So, I've posted this on Facebook, and there are people who asked me to do the instructions, and I will do a PDF and a video to show how I did it. Not on this bike though. Fortunately for me, I have another VFR that hadn't been done yet. So anyway, what's so great about this port? Well, most of the time I had the cord hanging around here, and so I plugged my phone up here and then try to hook it up over here, and that got in the way. So what this allows me to do, well, this allows me to do more things than those other plugs allow me. I can plug in two USB devices which for me would be my phone and my Cena headset. So I can charge my Cena headset, which has a camera, and I can charge my phone, which means I can also do GPS. Which, you know, fortunate for me, the GPS talks in my helmet, so I don't get distracted, because that would be bad. Believe me, that would be bad. The other thing it allows me to do is check the voltage on my battery. So my bike is off right now. It's a little warm, but it's because I just got through riding. But in case I wanted to see where my battery was, I just plug this up. I'm gonna turn this on, and there it is. I can see a little bit better this way here. It's 12.7, 12.6. That's enough to, do my battery. It's in good condition. Great thing about it is, though, if I cut my bike on, it actually goes up, which is good. So you can see where you are. Let's crank this up. I got it in neutral, so I'm gonna crank it up while I was on the kickstand. So there you have it. So I'll give you a little brief overview on how I put this in. So I needed basically to buy a whole bunch of stuff, which is okay because I'll end up doing this again. So it wasn't like just a one-off. So I had to get a drill. I had to get 2 drill bits. One was a 1 1/8 drill bit, which is approximately the diameter of the hole to fit the devices in. And I had to get another drill bit, small drill with, which varies in sizes, but just big enough to put those screws in and bolt them down. The other things I had to get was a wire crimper and actually some wires, some red and black wires. The reason why I chose red and black, because typically when you hook up battery devices, the wires are red and black. Red, of course, for positive charge, black for negative charge. You also have to have a bit of knowledge on how to do, say, a little electrical engineering. So if you've taken an electrical class or EE class, you know that with switch, there are two main types of circuits. You have a series circuit and you have a parallel circuit. The way I hooked this up was parallel. So basically I connected all the positive leads on the devices with all the negative leads on the devices. And since I had this connected to the battery, the positive lead on the switch was left alone. There's another lead, it had 3 ports, so there's another lead on the switch that allowed me to connect directly to the battery. The negative leads on these devices are connected directly to the battery. So later on I'll show you how that looks. Also, you need the ends in order to connect those devices. The crimpers basically keeps you from having to solder the leads to the wires and the wires to anything else. Because honestly, unless you got them firmly connected, they're going to cause some problems. The other thing you needed was basically a battery tender that allowed you to connect the fuse. So let's go back to these here. And as you see, there are ports here that allow you to put your fuses. Now, unfortunately, the switch didn't have the leads labeled, so when I initially connected them, it blew a few fuses. That's when I realized, hey, I got the positive lead on the negative lead, on the negative end. So it was just a matter of switching them, all of a sudden it worked. I recommend, if you're using Honda or using one of these right here, they usually have like a 7.5 resistance fuse or something like that. I know I'm using the wrong term, forgive me. But you can go to the auto store and pick some up. They usually come between 5 and 10. I recommend 10. You can kind of use whatever you want in there. I would recommend anything that protects your bike and your electronics, anything. So anyway, that's it. Bit of advice. So initially when I wanted to do this project, I want to go to Radio Shack and get all this stuff. Here's a problem: Radio Shack doesn't have as many stores as it used to, and here in my town of Jacksonville, most, if not all, the Radio Shacks are closed. So the nearest Radio Shack was, say, north, almost to the border of Georgia, and south, out of the county. I said, yeah, that's okay. Luckily, your auto parts stores like, say, O'Reilly's or AutoZone will have the things you need in order to do this. Again, I'll have instructions out there so you can do this yourself, and a link to those instructions where you can download them and, of course, partake. Um, anyway, that's it. Sorry if I sound a little boring. This is my first video that I'm speaking in, and I didn't write a script. This is just spur of the moment. And oh, by the way, just in case you do have these extra devices, you're gonna need have some. You gotta have some way to mount them. I recommend this right here, RAM mount. It's universal. You can put just about any devices, say your GPS, any phone that you have or whatnot, and they'll allow you to mount your phone, instead of having it in your pocket or however you want to do it. Either way, frees your hands for the handlebars, keeps you safe. All right, talk to you later.